Oh, hi, all my non-toxic hand sanitizers. Welcome to another episode of Whatcha Packin. All the way from Las Vegas, joining me today is Anetra.
Hey,
you better walk that duck.
You better walk that duck, girl. Yes.
I don't know. Let's go back to the beginning because we've talked about it so much that we can basically, choke a duck at this point. But where did that come from?
So, talent show. I knew I wanted to break boards.
Okay.
But I've never made music before, so I guess now is the time.
Right.
So, I tried to make music and it didn't really come out the way I wanted it. And I was like, well, let me smoke a joint and do some thinking.
Okay.
And I did, and I just grabbed the microphone and we put a beat on and I just rattled it out. And
Did you think it was as funny as me
honestly,
and Rue thought it was?
Not at first.
Okay.
It was like the second episode and she kept saying it and I was like, does she think I'm funny?
It's really funny. And that's the thing with you, Anetra. First of all, you were kind of like a grower, not a shower. Girl, we've all been there. It took you a while to unleash. You came out strong with Walk That Up, but then it was like you were almost falling back and very quiet. And I would watch you on the main stage. Like, could you feel me glaring at you all the time?
Of course.
Okay.
Every time.
Okay.
And you're so stunning, so it doesn't help. So I just be like, oh my gosh, she's looking at me.
I was looking at you because I was quietly obsessed with you. And I don't let queens know. They can kind of figure it out or they're scared. It goes one or the other.
But resting bitch face. So it's so hard to know. It's like,
which is what I
did.
Yes. I think a lot of times your face kind of went into that RBF and it was like, wake it up, because when your face wakes up, your smile is beautiful. Everything about you was just making me really happy. Aww. And I'm so glad that you are in the Final Four. You belong there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that makes my heart so happy. And I can finally sleep at night.
I'm sure. What was it like for you? Did you have a good time?
Everything?
Yeah, the whole experience.
It was incredible. I think I grew a lot personally.
In what ways?
I didn't realize how much I had held on to and how much I had closed myself off from the world, and I allowed my trauma to take over my life. And so I think when all these amazing things start happening and all these good things happening and talking about your life, sharing your story, the experience of Drag Race was so changing for me in the best ways. Even sometimes it was the most hard, and at the end of it, it's I feel like a new person.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's, what Rue often talks about, where you have to let the old self die so the new self could be reborn. But only if you're willing to...
It's so hard.
...trust the process.
It's so hard.
It is really hard.
But it's worth it.
When we have to deal with the trauma and face it, we have to re-feel it again. And that part does not feel good for anybody.
It was really hard because you say your old self has to die. And you also have to be willing to watch your old self die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
not easy. You're seeing it play out before you.
Letting go is really hard for me.
Was it?
Apparently so is talking. So
it's puberty.
Yes. Before the show, I was not an emotional person. I never cried. And then coming to the show, it was I think I cried every day. Whether it was on or off camera, I think I cried every day.
Where did you grow up?
Where did I grow up? In Vegas.
So you're born and raised in Vegas?
Homegrown.
Wow, you don't hear that often.
No.
So you're used to the Vegas hustle?
Yeah, and the strippers.
Well,
I remember being 5 years old and them do you see the
I
cards?
know. Oh, yes. When I brought my kids there for the first time for Mother's Day, they're giving my kids porn cards. And I was like, no, she's 6.
Girl.
They don't care though.
It's
but
one of my earliest memories of the strip.
Unbelievable.
But hey.
What was your favorite part about competing?
Oh God. I love walking the runway.
Yeah.
I mean, the talent show, I think that was pretty great. I also really love the Rusical.
The Rusical has quickly become my favorite.
It's everything.
I agree.
Singing, dancing, acting.
But you also won.
I did.
That's why you love it.
I mean, okay. I think even if I didn't win, I would be girl, we did that.
Yeah. In the Lip Sync-a-Palooza, you made a choice, which was controversial.
Was it?
Yeah, you chose to save Spice. Why?
If I had said, I want to save Jax, and I lip sync against Spice, who knows what would have happened, but if I sent Spice home, I wouldn't really feel right. I wouldn't feel like I won anything. I wouldn't feel like, I earned anything, so.
So what you're saying is, it would have been easier
Yes.
That stoned dress for the crystal ball.
Yes.
None of us could pick our jaws up off the floor. And you made it.
Yeah, I made it in the workroom.
How did you do that in that amount of time?
I think I had a lot of good practice, like working with a little bit of time, because I mean, I'm busy. I do 13 shows a week and having to have new looks made. I don't have $1 million to be paying a designer. Hopefully that won't be a problem.
I love that. Who taught you how to sew?
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah.
And you got a machine.
Yep. I went to Goodwill. It was like a falling apart $20 machine, and I just sat and learned and tried until I got things right, and now we make things, and I love them.
You listen to me right now. That story that Anetra just said is what I've been banging on about for 10 years. Mm-hmm. Goodwill, a $20 machine. Mm-hmm. You taught yourself how to what, Anetra?
To sew.
Thank you. That lip sync, which I believe I said, I think was my favorite lip sync of all time.
What did you say?
I think it was my favorite lip sync of all
I just wanted to hear you say it again.
time. Anetra.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. I didn't expect it.
It's a huge compliment from you, especially.
And I mean it. I was blown the away. I didn't know what was happening. I felt, and Marsha did great. She was fighting, but there was nobody else on that stage. What happened? What took over?
I think, we stand there and we're waiting. I was thinking about all the work I've done, every costume, every stone, everything that I wanted was like almost gone. It was like, it's time. We're not losing today. No, girl. I'm not ready to go. I never performed that song, but I was like, I know I'm a boss bitch.
Yeah.
And I want them to know.
Well, we knew. But I was literally like, oh my God. And I knew you had it all along.
And that's the funny thing, like you learn so much about yourself and what you're capable of.
Imagine we watch it back, we're like, that sucks. Did Michelle wear her glasses on
That was different.
Let's talk about the very anime eyebrow slash. Did that start with anime?
No, it was actually an accident. I messed up my makeup one day. Yeah, and I was running late, and I was like, well, I guess it's gonna be this.
And you just went with it.
I was looking at it at the end of the night, and I'm like, oh, it looks like a scar. And it's kind of my way of wearing my heart on my sleeve and saying, you can be gorgeous with scars and all.
I just love it. I think it's cool.
Thank you.
This is the type of drag that my child would like, even out of drag, but in drag, they're a big fan of anime. Just the way you do drag has that feeling to it.
I would definitely say it inspires my drag a lot.
Let's talk about your incredible, incredible looks.
Let's do it. This piece right here, my grandmother passed away, and one of the last things she did was she made a mural of a Japanese character out of origami cranes. It was like prize for like my entire life.
And those are little origami cranes?
Yes, they're origami Japanese cranes. Growing up, being mixed, I never really felt like I fit with like, my Puerto Rican family, you look too Asian. If you're with the Asian family, you look Mexican. It's like, people always like would put me in somewhere, but not anywhere. So I think being able to incorporate into my drag and like own my Asianness or my Puerto Ricanness and really own it makes me feel good.
There was one outfit that you had all the flags on.
Yes.
Of your cultures. I loved that.
I'm a mixed pot.
Tell us.
Filipino,
right.
Puerto Rican,
right.
Japanese,
right.
and German.
Which one do you think you were in touch with the most?
I think probably Puerto Rican and Filipino I grew up around the most.
So you got some good Puerto Rican food.
Girl.
Don't even we'll talk off camera about the Puerto Rican food because I could talk mofongo all day,
yes.
every day.
Rice and beans all day.
Let's talk about that pretty one.
So this is inspired by Guape a little bit. He has incredible work. This is actually a quarantine project. I was like going through rough times, as we all were, and I just kept thinking like, what do I make? And I just stare at a sketch pad until something happens, and then, we smoke a joint and
there it is.
There it is. But I just remember at the time feeling so blue and feeling really sad, and I wanted to make something beautiful out of it and make something that is beautiful and sad at the same time.
Did you make the majority of your looks?
I made everything except for Beyonce.
Wow.
Yeah.
And who made the Beyonce look?
That is Calvi Couture in Las Vegas.
Okay, fantastic. This gorgeous one, you did the little, are they knitting sticks?
So they're actually skewers.
Oh, okay.
And I've painted them to look like needles. A designer fell through for shreds, and I had to figure something out, and as drag queens do, honey, we make it work. So I grabbed some fabric and stones and threw the materials in the bag, and I did it in the hotel room.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
And it looked so good.
Thank you.
I love Anetra 2.0. I love Anetra 1.0. I just love Anetra. And I know the world does now too. So everything that you do is going to be amazing, and you're gonna walk that duck for the rest of your life.
I hope.
I know, and I hope you're working on the merch for it.
I am. It's coming.
Good. You are just fantastic. Congrats on getting
you.
to the top 4. That is not an easy feat, as you now know. And I'm so proud of you for allowing the new Anetra to be reborn.
It feels good.
Yeah.
And I love you so much. And thank
love
you
you.
for your eyes and advice, even if it was just like, you know, a little nudge. But even like the resting bitch face thing, like I had no idea. And
Now
then
you
now
do.
I look at myself and I'm like, how?
Right.
How did you have no idea?
Because we don't know unless it's pointed out. So sometimes you just needed somebody to go, tell your face that you're happy. You know what I mean? Because you're so beautiful when you smile. Smile. You have such a gorgeous smile. You really do. I just love when your face lights up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anetra.
I love you.
I love you too. And thank you for joining me for another episode of Whatcha Packin. I'll see you next time.
You want more gay
It's coming. Oh, hey, everybody, it's Michelle Visage. Do you want Emmy-nominated gay? Well, then subscribe to RuPaul's Drag Race on YouTube.